How do I control it? I'm sorry.
I'm going to give you the controls, so you'll see a notification.
Okay. Okay, click to
Yeah,
start.
so mute. Don't forget to mute everyone. I don't know if you have that ability on there.
Okay, let me see. It's stuck in the presenting screen. The bar on the bottom disappeared.
I'm gonna take the control back. I'm gonna take the control.
Hi. Okay, that's fine.
And then I'll just mute everyone. And then
don't mute me.
Hey, Peter Paul.
So, and if
you try to muzzle me, man, I'm not a dog.
Yeah, well, you're close.
I'm not that good.
So, thanks for joining, Peter Paul. So we're gonna. If you hear anyone new, Danny, and you hear any background noise, just just ask them to pause them. Mute themselves.
Mute themselves. Okay, no problem.
Okay, hold on. I'm using the controls right now.
All right.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm now muting myself, and then I'm going to give the control back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tiff. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us today. And I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy day to see this opportunity that we have to present to you today. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself as well as what Shaklee has to offer in terms of product. And then I'm going to hand it over to Christy, who's going to give us a testimony about her experience with Shaklee. And then Tif, you guys all know Tif, she's going to be going over more of what kind of compensation and what kind of lifestyle you can kind of live through Shaklee. So to kind of get started, we all ask these huge questions anytime we're about to take a big step in life or about to join anything. We ask, do we trust the process or do we trust the company? We ask, can we actually do this? And is this going to be worth it for myself? And so through this presentation, I'm going to touch on all these subjects on why I trust Shaklee, how I know that I can do Shaklee, and how I know Shaklee is worth it to me. Okay, so bear with me really quick. All right, so this is me. My name's Daniel. I also go by Danny. Prior to Shaklee, I was really into health and nutrition. I actually pursued my personal training certificate by myself through ACE. And I spent a lot of time educating myself on not only how to work out really well, but also how to eat really well and how to nourish my body. And I thought I was doing a good job. I was taking a bunch of supplements from GNC, from Super Supplement World, anywhere that I could get my hands on. I actually even had friends that came up with pre-workouts, and I'd test them out. And I always thought that I knew what I was taking. But through research, I actually found that a lot of the stuff that what they say is in supplements isn't actually in them, or they don't really describe the process. And so through that, I was actually undernourished. I was always tired. Throughout the day, I kind of live a pretty busy lifestyle, and on top of that, I was always stressed. I attend college full time. I'm pursuing a communications degree at a local community college, and I also work full time at a manufacturing factory. So I do a lot of factory work. I'm standing up and doing a lot of stuff. And like I said earlier, I also do personal training on the side part time. Right now it's not through any company, but I just practice on a lot of my friends, so that I can keep the edge on. And it's really easy to work with my friends, so I work with them. I started Shaklee when I was 25, which is actually only about 2 weeks ago. And since then, it's actually already been able to add an additional stream of income to me, and this was pretty huge. Also, all the supplements that I was already taking, it now I actually get paid money back for supplements that I buy, as well as supplements that I recommend to other people. And probably my favorite thing about joining Shaklee right now is that it's opened a new world of positivity and also a new world of amazing friendship. I live in a small town, and it's hard to find like-minded people that try and always look up and not look down. And in my short experience with Shaklee, no matter who I'm talking to in Shaklee, no matter if it's a master coordinator or a brand new director or distributor, anybody up and down Shaklee, they're always looking up. They're always really positive. They're always uplifting, and we all kind of have the same goal on we want to just improve other people's lives in general. So, all right. So this is the kind of the climate. Oops, sorry. All right, this is the climate that we're in America right now. Heart disease is on the rise, cancer, stroke, diabetes. These are all the leading causes of death in America right now. And if we look at 1996, 1 in 3 adults were obese, but now in 2017, it's probably more now. Back in 2010, it was 2 out of 3 adults. And even if you look around, like think about walking around the store right now, walking around Walmart, walking around anything, you can actually see this. You can see this. You can see the obese children. And where does this all kind of stem from? Well, if you really think about it, 9 out of 10 Americans fall short in their nutrients. And this is the cause of a lot of things, but mostly if you think about fast food, think about all the processed food we have. These foods are really abundant, but one thing they're not abundant in is nutrition. So we're eating a bulk of food, but they're not providing us with everything that we need. And they're actually harming our bodies in ways that we're now realizing. And this is one thing that Dr. Shaklee started realizing way back 60 years ago. He started seeing the shift that companies were trying to make products as cheaply as they could with anything that they could, and they wanted to make them as abundant as they could for profit. Okay, and this is where he kind of put his foot down. He was like, all right, this has to change. This isn't the way that the world needs to go. And he was the one who actually pioneered the very first multivitamin back in 1915, and it was a plant-based multivitamin. Shortly after that, he actually came up with the first biodegradable, non-toxic cleaner. And he was doing this when green was just a word and biodegradable, or green was just a color, sorry, and biodegradable was barely a word then. Okay, and also one of my favorite things is he actually came up with the first plant-based soy protein. And the thing with our protein, which is pretty big, is he actually patented the cold process that we use and no other supplement company can use. And what this means is that we actually get the best nutrients out of it without killing it off through the heating process. And we'll talk about this later. But this is Dr. Shaklee here. He's our founder. And this is our visionary, Dr. Roger Burnett. I'm going to talk about him for a little bit. So to give him a little bit of background, he's a Harvard Yale graduate. He's been in a family of billionaires for generations. I don't know if you've heard of Burberry, Equifax, Reebok, all of them. These are all companies that stem from the Barnett family. So if you're looking for credibility, you can kind of take a look at how well these companies are doing, and this should be sufficient enough information. But what their family likes to do is they like to take a great product without that great of marketing, and they like to turn them to number one in their market. So he is actually a self-made billionaire. I don't know if you've heard of beauty.com, which is now Walgreens, but Roger Burnett pioneered this. And he believed that if people look good, then they feel good. And this is kind of the basis that he works upon. He's always been interested in health. He's on the health board for Harvard as well as Yale. And when he took Shaklee, he wanted to create a legacy for himself. He wanted to create a legacy not only for him, but for his family. And he wanted to hit on a lot of major things. He wanted to help people live a healthier life. He wanted them to live a wealthier life if they could. And he wanted to do all this while leaving a healthy footprint in the environment. And this is the main reason why he chose Shaklee as his vehicle and his vessel to accomplish this. He ended up buying Shaklee for $310 million cash, making it a debt-free company. And since then, he has transformed Shaklee into the #1 natural nutrition company in the world. Okay, so Shaklee is actually in 5 product categories. We're in healthy home, healthy beauty, healthy weight, healthy solutions, and we have our Shaklee life plans. And so if you notice, all these products are stuff that people use every single day. If you think about a healthy home, we have laundry detergent, we have hand washing soap, healthy beauty. I use a lot of these products. Actually, I didn't realize how important it was to take care of your skin. But everybody uses this. Also, healthy weight. This is also one of my favorite categories. This is one that I'm really familiar with, but everybody has to eat. This is all the food. This is all the correct food that you should be eating. All of it is going to be processed in the most healthiest way possible, as well as give you the best nutrients possible. Healthy solutions also ties into this. So this is everything that you can't get from just the food. This is stuff that you have to add in, such as Vivix, which is our anti-aging serum, MindWorks, which is a nootropic to improve brain function. And we'll kind of go over more of these products later, but I'm just kind of giving a brief overview. And then we also have the Shaklee Life Plan, which is something that I'll also go through in a second. Okay, so here you can kind of just see the revenue from each category. And as you can see, each category is steadily climbing. This is, like I said, with Roger Burnett, this is the stuff that he really saw that everybody needed, and this is what they're investing a lot of their time and money into. Okay, so why is Shaklee, what makes Shaklee different? Okay, at Shaklee, we believe that nature holds the answer to a healthy life. By using proven ingredients and the foremost scientific research, we formulate products that are truly life-enhancing and 100% guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. Actually, really quick, I'm going to put this in here. So any of these Shaklee products that if you decide to use at all, they come with 100% money back guarantee. And what that means is, say you use the product and you don't like the product at all, which I highly doubt will happen. You can actually return to Shaklee the empty container, and they will refund you your full money. They won't return your money if you haven't opened the product. So you have to open the product and try the product. You have to give it a chance before you can actually return it. And with this crazy return rate or this crazy return policy that they have, less than 0.5% of 0.5% of product actually gets returned. That should kind of speak for itself there. So also Shaklee they're really, like I said, Dr. Burnett, they believe in a greener earth, a greener planet, because right now with climate change and everything, the world is going in a direction it shouldn't be. And they feel like they should be pioneering the correct direction that everybody should be in. So with that, they planted over 1 million trees. They have published over 125 scientific papers and presentations. They have one of the most comprehensive landmark studies ever known for nutrition right now, and we'll touch base on that in a second. They go through so much testing, not only through their ingredients, through their pesticides, and their quality. They do over 100,000 quality tests to ensure the purity and potency of all their products. In the year 2000, this year they took huge strides, and Shaklee became the world's first neutral climate neutral certified company. And what that means is all of the production plants down to the cars that deliver Shaklee products all produce zero emissions. So their company is so efficient at running through emissions that it offsets all of the other stuff that they do. Shaklee has also helped 121 athletes win gold, silver, and bronze in the past Olympic Games. And you might be asking, this is something I asked myself. I was like, whoa, I've never seen any endorsements. I've never seen like any commercials for Shaklee. And Shaklee actually doesn't sponsor any of these people. They willingly choose to use it because it's proven to work. Okay, and they also invest millions and millions of dollars into research and development for their product to ensure that they all work properly. Okay, so back, like I said, we're going to touch base on this landmark study. So in this landmark study, what happened was they took 3 groups of people. They took a group of people that didn't take anything. They took a group of people that took Shaklee products, and they took a group of people that took other supplements that weren't Shaklee products. So the Shaklee takers, they're 33%, they showed 33% lower levels of triglycerides, which is linked to healthier heart. They showed 11% lower cholesterol rates, which also is linked to healthier heart. They showed 36% lower levels of I always stumble with this word, homosynth, which is linked to brain health, and 59% lower levels of C-reactive protein. And what this C-reactive protein does is this C-reactive protein is directly linked to stress. And so 59% of this protein was found less. And so the people that took this product were less stressed. Okay, so when people want to do extraordinary things, they call Shaklee. So Shaklee is found everywhere, like I said, from athletes, but it's also found in space. So since 1993, Shaklee has been paired with NASA in helping them keep their astronauts as well nourished as they can while they're in space. While you're in space, your body degrades a lot quicker than you do while you're on Earth. And so NASA trusted Shaklee products to help keep their astronauts as healthy as they could. Kind of a fun fact, this is kind of cool. They actually have a drink, it's an electrolyte drink, and they call it Asteroid. I just found this out. I started taking their Performance, which is like their Gatorade for working out, but way, way better. And they made one for the astronauts called Asteroid. Okay, so when we were talking about the five product categories, one of them was the Shaklee Life Plan. And what the Shaklee Life Plan is, it's actually it's the most comprehensive nutrisystem in the world. And it does this by pretty much giving you all the nutrients you need through your day, plus the energy that you need through your day. You can see the vitamin pack on the side, all the multivitamins in it. You get all the fish oils you need. And it also gives you Vivix, which is, like I mentioned earlier, your anti-aging serum. One thing that the previous slide didn't mention when it was showing all the numbers, which I think Shaklee really needs to point out, is how many patents that they have. So just in these products alone, they have 35 patents that are also pending. But if you really think about it, that means that all the processes that they use to make this product are very unique to them. And they're doing that for a reason, so that nobody else can copy them. This is the only place that you can get this type of comprehensive nutrition. Okay, and then this is kind of more touching on it. This shake does it all. It pretty much, and from my personal training standpoint, a lot of things I was doing with people too was I was helping them build meal plans. And so when I saw these products, that was like my biggest concern. I was like, okay, what's in it? What kind of carbohydrates are in it? What sugars are in it? All that kind of stuff. That's all stuff I was running through my head. And the more I started researching it, I was like, holy cow, this stuff is packed with everything that you need. It has over 16 grams of protein by itself. If you take it with milk, it actually has 24 grams of protein. And like I mentioned earlier, the way the protein is processed is very unique to Shaklee. And you're going to get the best protein that you can get from it. Its probiotic system is pretty crazy too. So the way their probiotics work is their probiotics actually, when you ingest them, a lot of times when you take a different probiotic, it just makes it to your stomach, and then your stomach acid kind of eats away at the probiotic, and very little bit of it actually gets to your intestines where it needs to go and work. With Shaklee products, there's actually patents on them so that they make it to the target intestine, and that's where they actually are released. There's also an abundance of the amino acid leucine, which also helps to, while you're working out, it's very essential in retaining your lean muscle, because when you're exerting yourself and say you run out of nutrients in your body, it's very likely that your body can actually start deteriorating or can start eating away at your muscle in order to keep yourself going. And so what the leucine does is it actually helps in the process of targeting fat instead of muscle, so that you can achieve a healthier weight. Okay, so back to the life strip. These are all the things found in the life strip, and if you look at it, just for example, for the biotin, it shows the eggs right there. The amount of biotin that is in this life strip is 12 dozen eggs. I don't know about you, but it'd be really hard for me to eat 12 dozen eggs in them. And if you look at every single ingredient across the board, you're going to find that the quantity of stuff that's in the life strip is something that you can't eat alone. And so what Shaklee does is they take everything you need out of all these products and everything you don't need out of these products, and they put it all into this one strip. Okay, and this is I kind of touched base on this. This is our smart delivery system. This is like how I was saying, you can see in the diagram on the side, everything goes where it needs to go, and it is released where it needs to be released, so it's not wasted in any way. Okay, healthy weight. So this is our Shaklee 180 program, and I actually have 2 people on this program right now, and I'm really excited to see what results they have, because like I said earlier, through my personal training, meal planning was the huge thing. And so after this is like one of the things that drew my attention a lot too, because when I first saw it, I was like, okay, cool, I can take this and I can kind of build it in some meal plans for some of my clients. I can help them take it as well as build them a workout plan. And I thought I was going to have to put a lot of footwork into it, as much as we have this thing called counting macros, which is counting your macronutrients. So I pretty much go through, I figure out how many calories you need to eat a day, as well as how much protein you need to intake for a day, how much carbohydrates you need to intake, and how much fat. Those are all the things I have to look at. And normally that takes a while. For example, if I were to make a meal plan for somebody, I'd probably have to spend a good hour to 2 hours just on planning meals, as well as making sure that they're hitting all 4 of those categories. So when I was researching this, I actually came across an abundance of information about it on our website, and Shaklee already did all of the footwork for me. They already planned out how many calories a person should eat a day, how many macronutrients they should be intaking, and it all laid it out in a really simple, easy to follow meal plan for all of these products. So pretty much what somebody would do is they would take a Life Shake in the morning, as well as Metabolism Boost, and depending on your weight, you actually add or take away food. So like, for example, for me, since I'm a little bit bigger, I would have to eat a Life Shake as well as some fruit, and then I would take my Metabolic Boost. And then after that, I would have a snack, which would either be a Shaklee snack bar or some Shaklee chips, which I've heard are really amazing also, as well as their tea. And then for lunch, you have a meal bar, which pretty much tastes like candy. And I was really surprised at the nutrition label when I was eating it. I was like, there's no way that this tastes this good and it's this healthy for you. But and then you have, depending on your weight, like I said, for me, I'd have to have another snack. And then for my last meal, I'd get to cook a meal. And then this is another cool thing I thought is that Shaklee actually took the time to go through and educate their clients on what a healthy meal consists of. Because I've heard the definition of healthy from person to person kind of varies if they don't do their research. And Shaklee did the research for them. They showed you exactly how much protein you should be eating, exactly what vegetables you should be eating, what carbohydrates to stay away from, what proteins are going to be best for you. They did all of this and put it all into this 180 program. And that's why I'm so excited for it right now. Okay, these are some more of our healthy solutions. So I kind of touched on Vivix. My 2 favorite products on here right now is MindWorks. So MindWorks is actually, it's a neurotropic, and what it does is it helps improve blood flow and oxygen delivery to the brain, almost 3 times more than what you normally would. I swear when I take this stuff, I can feel my head pulsating a little bit more than it normally would, and I can actually feel the blood flow going to my head. Another thing that I really enjoy taking, and I can see a difference, is the Nutriferon. This past weekend, actually, I was with Tif, and we went to Chuni's house, one of her downlinks' house, and we were doing some training and some product presentation. And I'm actually really allergic to cats, and they had maybe three cats there. But I realized that the information I was going to get there was so valuable that I decided to tough it through, and I didn't really say anything to them. I don't think I even told Tip now, but I ended up getting a sinus infection from being over there. And I ended up just doubling up on my Nutriferon, which helps with your immune system. And I ended up taking another product, which is our it's almost like emergency. It's better than emergency. It's the equivalent of eating 15 oranges in one serving. It's the Vitalizer. And the combination of those 2 helped me kick that sinus infection within 2 days without doing anything. And the whole time too, while I had the sinus infection, all I really had was the stuffiness. I didn't have the headache or anything else that followed with it. All right, so here's some more of our healthy beauty. Right now, I'm still exploring a lot of these products. I'm using the healthy toner, I'm using the repair system, and I'm about 4 days in, and I've already taken some before and after. I've taken some before pictures, so hopefully next time you guys see us, I can have some good after pictures for you. Healthy home. This one is also one of my favorite categories. We have our basic H, which is our Pioneer, and this basic H cleaner, you only use it's very, very concentrated, and a little bit goes a long ways. And this stuff is strong enough to clean grease off pans. It's clean enough to disinfect things at the gym, but then it's also safe enough where you could spray it in your mouth and nothing bad would happen. Like I said before, Shaklee gives their 100% money back guaranteed. We firmly believe in our products. We put the research and development into it. We've invested the money to test them, so we know that they're going to work. So like I said, the return rate for our product is half of 0.5%. All right, and then here's some of the transformations that we've had through people taking our product. You can see on the bottom corner there, on the bottom left corner, that's going to be Neri. That's Tif's mom. You can see on the left side, this is before her Shaklee transportation, and then after. We also actually have Peter Paul here, who's sitting in. That's him on the left there, and then him on the right. And we also have up on the top, this is Brittany Buffany. She's pretty cool. She's very similar to me in where she has her degree in kinesiology, and both of our Shaklee stories actually fall very similar to each other. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hand the controls back to Tif so that she can go ahead and give it back to Christy now.
Thank you, Danny. You did a really great job. That was his first time doing a webinar presentation, and I think he's done really, really great, off to a great start. And, all the information that he's had, even though I've heard this presentation myself, and I've done this presentation myself so many times, just hearing some of the little personal things that he's added in there to make it his own, and also the bits of information that I don't have as not being a personal trainer. It's really nice to hear from a different perspective when someone is in the personal training world and they see the differences in the Shaklee effect. So I really appreciate all of that. I am gonna introduce Christy, who is Danny's upline, and Christy has an amazing story. The reason why Danny's even here today is because Christy had an amazing transformation that was totally life-changing, not only for herself, but for anyone who's suffered as much as she has in terms of her pain. So I just really want to welcome Christy to share her short testimonial on her Shaklee effect. Oops, 1 sec. Hi, Christy.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to do my best and try and frame this perfectly for you guys. So I have weak ankles, abnormally small calves, and poor blood circulation. And because of this, I experience a lot of pain in my knees and my lower back daily, which means I had cold feet all the time. I had repeated ankle sprains, and it was really difficult for me to take on stairs. Back in 2007, I wanted to get a professional standpoint, so I wanted to seek out a neurologist. But all that proved to me was it was just too expensive, and I kind of put my health back on the back burner. Fast forward to October, I go and visit Tif in Boston, and she notices the way that I'm walking, the difficulties with me taking stairs, and Tif being Tif, she force-fed me Shaklee. Later on that day, we decide to kind of explore Boston, and as we're walking around town, I notice an increase in my energy and a decrease in my pain. And a couple days later, I go back home, and Tif sent me a whole regimen of Shaklee products that I continue to take today. Just recently, I was reunited with my father, who I learned struggles with the same issues as me, but worse. And I shared with him the products that helped me, and he's already starting to feel the Shaklee effect. Since then, I've been able to obtain the goals I never thought was possible, such as performing my first 3 squats. That was really exciting. That was my Shaklee miracle. And I'm super grateful for the hope that Shaklee has offered me. And I'm just really excited to be helping others experience the same. So.
Thank you, Christy. Wow, that's amazing. And I've seen her transform throughout the months, from being in so much pain and saying, oh, my back hurts, I'm so tired, and this and that, from that going into having so much energy and just like taking on the day. And it's just amazing to see the transformation. So I'm really excited about what is happening out in Seattle with Danny, with Michael, with Christy, and with Seth and Susan. And we also have another team out there, Trini and Narit and Naran. But we have an amazing thing happening in the Pacific Northwest, where the shift is really moving towards preventative health measures. And Seattle is a very trendy area, and it's coming up, and there are more young people there. So I believe that there's a real balance in terms of the younger generation coming up and really understanding that preventative health care is important, because the medical industry doesn't really allow us to really get better, right? So like Christy had to go through all of these things and still couldn't figure out what was wrong, but also couldn't really manage her situation. So with Shaklee, she's been able to rebuild her health. And I think that's the biggest message that we're getting here. So I'm really excited about that. Now, with, we've listened to Danny about the company and about the products. And, if you're here for the first time, I'd like to welcome you, and I want to congratulate you for being here, because I believe that you're here for a reason, that there's some part of you that knows that you need to make a change. So before we move on to the next thing, let's just reflect on what we've heard about the uniqueness and the superiority of our products, the over 71 patents that we own on our innovations, and the amount of testing and the research and the integrity and the longevity of the company. Wouldn't you agree that you've never seen a company like Shaklee before? Just in terms of the amount of stringent testing that we go through, and the focus on quality and purity and performance, and the fact that if you were to Google Shaklee and you were to go and do your own research, which I really, really recommend you to do, is to go out and compare. If you're looking for the right nutritional programs, if you're putting these things in your body, you want to know, how can Shaklee compare to others? I challenge you to go out there and see if you can find the amount of testing and transparency that Shaklee has out there with other companies, because I want you to know for yourself, what that means to you. And so then another part of this opportunity in changing your life is not just about changing your health standpoint, but also looking at where you are in your life. And Shaklee attaches an opportunity to start part-time a business that can potentially help expand your lifestyle, right? So there is a business built around helping other people see the opportunity to change their health and to change their life. So think about where you are in terms of work and family balance. How do you feel about your own fitness level? And 30, 50 years ago, depending on where we are in our age group, Peter Paul, maybe 200 years ago, if, you've had the lifestyle that you've always wanted, that when you were growing up, you thought that this was going to be like. So I challenge you today, just for this moment, it doesn't have to be forever, but I want you to really sit and reflect as I'm going through this opportunity, about why you're here. Because, if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for different results in your life, it requires you to think differently. So for a moment, I just want you to open your mind a little bit to maybe the fact that I'm 25 years old, for 18 years, I was conditioned to do something a certain way, that life was supposed to be something that was mechanical, that we would follow certain steps, that we went through school learning systems and that weren't really tailored to, you know, the kind of education that I think I wanted. I've seen my younger brothers go through this education system and kind of, there was one who was right on track and there was one who was kind of advanced and ahead in his group, but he wasn't able to kind of break those barriers and excel because the system didn't support that. And so that's something that I've seen ongoing in growing up in 18 years of being in a regular education system, that you know, it doesn't really support people who want to do something different. It doesn't really support people who actually want to excel and do more than the average person, right? And so at Shaklee, we're more than average. We do more than average things. We work harder than average people, but we play 10 times harder than average people as well. And our lifestyle seems too good to be true sometimes, but it is certainly possible and has been done for 100 years. And so I want you to just, you know, before I go into this next part, open your mind, open your heart, and maybe think that if I want something different, I may have to think differently. And it might sound a little scary, but it's something that has to be done if you feel like you're just sick and tired of sick and tired. And so that is, you know, where we were, is that before I joined Shaklee, my mom had joined prior to me, about 3 years prior to my actually making the decision to join Shaklee. Both me and my mom lived together for 18 years. My mom was a single mom growing up and raising me and doing the best that she could do. But if we go back to this part about work and family being in balance, our work and family was not in balance because I was family basically at home, and maybe I had a babysitter, maybe my grandma was there. But my mom was out working because she was ambitious and she wanted to provide the best things out there possible for me. She put me in front of other mentors and other things, which I greatly appreciate and has done so much for me in my life. But what I really wanted was her presence. I really wanted her time. I really wanted her as a person, not just her as someone who could provide for me. And of course, when you're young, you don't understand that you really can't have it all, especially when you're a single mom, or so I thought, right? So I grow up not really knowing my mom, but respecting her so much as a person until, you know, the 2008 recession came along. And that was, you know, I grew up my whole life. My mom said, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a job. Or, I mean, maybe she never said you're going to get a job, but she said, when you get to college, you're going to have enough money to go to college, because my mom had been in real estate. She had been in insurance. She opened up an account for me, making sure that by the time I turned 18, I would have at least $250,000 in the bank to go to college, to whatever college that I wanted to go to. And I can even go to grad school, and all of it would be paid for. So there was that sense of security, which is what we found out to be false security, because you never know what's going to happen. And so growing up, and then on my senior year of high school, everything changes. And there were little steps that led up to these changes. It didn't just happen drastically, but all of the effects, the hurricane pretty much took place my senior year when I was getting ready to graduate. We ended up losing everything. We moved from a 4-bedroom home, and we became homeless and tried to find some place to live, and found a 1-bedroom in somebody else's home, and we slept on the same bed. The rent there was $600 a month for the both of us, and we still couldn't afford to pay that, right? My mom had lost $6 million in assets. She had to liquidate everything in order to save what she had, the store, but then ended up having to walk away from it due to employee embezzlement. So as you may know, that situation might be very stressful, to go from having everything that you worked for and built for. I didn't work for and build for it, right? My mom did. But what I did do was try my best in school and think that I was going to go off, and those dreams were taken away from me. At an instant, those dreams are taken away, and now all of a sudden, our whole lives have collapsed. And so we're stressed. We're living together in the same room when before we never saw each other. We probably lived on opposite ends of the home. And now we're in one bed together and fighting and arguing and stressed out. And I had to call the ambulance many times because of my mom's anxiety attacks and almost having heart attacks and strokes, and due to all of this stress. So she was in and out of court. She was, it was just a mess. And finally I decided I can't do this. I need to go and live with my father, who I've never lived with before, so that he could help me get back on my feet and my mom could get back on her feet without having to worry about her daughter. So I would go, I went to my dad's place. I worked for him for $8 an hour. I went to school full time, and I barely graduated high school, and then I went on to junior college. And so it was hard, and my mom and I had a huge falling out at that time. So our relationship had gone from not really there to even worse, right? And then our financial situation was worse. And then our health, because of the financial situation, that the stress that it brought us, was even worse than that. And then, it was really hard, and we really couldn't see that much further. But then when I turned 18, I realized that all of that we were taught growing up in school was really, really hard to believe that those things would be, attainable. But I started to pick up personal development books. And if you're joining in new right now with us, feel free to mute yourself so that we can, thank you. So it was just really hard, pretty much. But I decided that my mom, she could do whatever she set her heart to, that I knew that if I gave her time and if I gave her space, she could find herself again. But what I was unsure of was that because her health was so poor at that time, I didn't really know if she was going to make it. Like, I knew that she had her skills, but even without skill, even with the best skills in the world, without your health, you still have nothing. And that was the biggest lesson that taught us. So basically, let's cut the long story to be shorter. My mom meets Shaklee in this time that we're apart, and she gets better and she looks better and she has more energy. And I visit her after 3 or 4 months, and I come and I see my mom and I say, "Mom, what are you doing?" And she goes, I say, "Wow, you look amazing, and you look healthier, and I'm so happy for you." And she had just met Peter Paul, who is now my stepdad. And he, at the time I was kind of skeptical about him too, but I love him now. And Peter Paul seemed like a decent guy, but now I know he's the best guy ever. And I felt confident that my mom was doing well. So I saw the transformation in her, and I believed it, and I thought it was really great for her. And then when she handed me a Shaklee Vitalizer, which is now maybe a life strip, I said, "No, it's okay." So I rejected her. At the very moment that I knew, I believed that whatever she was doing with Shaklee was real and true and awesome, I still rejected her because I didn't believe it was for me. And I think that's something to realize about the way that we think, is that I didn't change my thinking, that because of this falling out and because of what I've been taught and conditioned my whole life, I thought that, wellness was for old people. To think about getting healthier was for old people because young people are healthy. And throughout my life, everyone equated being old with being sick. So I thought being old and sick was normal until my mom took me on a Shaklee vacation where she was recognized for breaking all the records in Shaklee and being amazing and being awesome. And then all of these Shaklee people at the age of 90 looked 70, at the age of 70 looked, 50, at the age of 50 everyone just looked 20 years younger, and nobody walked with a cane. Nobody was in a wheelchair. Everyone was standing up straight, healthy. And I thought, it blew my mind. It shattered all of those misconceptions that I've had about real life, that I thought that every single person in the world, when they got old, they got sick. Simply not true, right? Is that these people had control over their lives because they had health first. And then they were able to create an income based around helping other people understand that you could too have a healthier, longer, and better life. And that totally changed my life. And then, eventually I got started in Shaklee. I didn't get serious until my mom threatened not to pay for my tuition at school. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then I started to do it here and there. But I got serious about building a real income in Shaklee when I started to see my friends graduate from very great universities and amazing schools and graduate into debt, and they were anxious and they were depressed and they didn't understand why they weren't happy, because they followed the mechanistic system that was set up for us, right? So it's like this cookie cutter system that says that if you take these steps, then you're going to be happy. That if you go to school and get a job, then you're going to, and you have a family and you have 2.5 cars and you have a home in a suburb, that you're going to be amazing and you're going to be happy. And for some people, that's what happiness is. But for me, that wasn't it. And for a lot of my peers, that wasn't it. And they were looking for their passion. They were looking to make a difference. They were looking to help a cause that they were so passionate about, right? So our generation, we really care beyond ourselves. We really understand that there's a world beyond ourselves because of technology, because of globalization. We see ourselves more than just a person who's just going to go to school, get a job, live in a suburb. We see ourselves making a difference. We want to go to third world countries. We want to help here at home. We are more passionate than that, right? So all of my friends were just like lost. And just to see how disheartened they were, and then once in a while going on these Shaklee vacations and sharing the message that I had, I realized that I was sitting on a gold mine, that I was like, what am I doing that I'm not taking this more seriously to get that message out? So I made the decision. I went from making $1,000 a month at Shaklee to my average annual income being $121,000 per year as a full-time student, not yet graduated, not yet having a degree. And then at the same time, helping people like Danny, like Christy, like Seth, like Susan, like my team in Minnesota, like my team in Boston, do exactly what I'm doing, but in their own way. So in Shaklee, there's no cookie cutter system, but there's a way to do it where you can empower other people to take control of their lives and then continue to, do and accomplish any of the goals that they have. So this is a vehicle for you, if you're new today, for you to first empower yourself with the best health possible, because without your health, you'll have nothing. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much cars, no matter how much clothes, you can't eat your Jordans, is what my younger brother was getting at. Is he says that, kids think about the nice shoes, nice cars, nice clothes, but you can't eat your shoes, right? And so having your health and then empowering yourself to empower others to take control of their life. So that's what the Shaklee opportunity is really about. And so now you're thinking, okay, how do I get started, right? You can start using the products. Using the products is simple and it's easy, and you get a free membership by using the products, where versus at Costco, you would have to pay a $50 membership per year. Here you have the opportunity with any of our product packages to join free, get a 15 to 25% discount on the products, and it comes with all the unconditional guarantee, and you never have to pay a fee ever again. Or you can pay the $19.95 for the one-time fee if you decide that you want to choose certain products that Danny was talking about that don't include the free membership. But that's just a one-time fee. And if you order over $150 in products, then you get the membership for free again. So Shaklee's like, they make it so easy for you to get a discount. And then if you decide that because people are starting to see you transform, you have more energy, you feel better, you have a different glow when you walk in to the room, and they say, hey man, Michael, what are you doing? Why do you look so good? Why do you look like you have more energy? Well, then you can start to share and earn. And then you also can start to build a business. So these are the different packages that we have in order for you to unlock the 9 different ways that we get paid at Shaklee. So we don't just get paid one way. We get paid 9 different ways. When you go to work at an hourly job, you might get paid for just working that 1 hour. When Danny, as a personal trainer, trains someone, he only gets paid for the hour that he trains them. If he walks away from that gym and that person walks away from him, he no longer makes any money, just that hour that he makes money. In Shaklee, we make money by training people, by teaching people how to Shakleeize their home and replace products that they already use in their home to better products from Shaklee, and they get paid back on it. Isn't that amazing? So we have, depending on how much product you would like and depending on the opportunity that you would like for yourself to share and to earn, basically the more products you have, the more products you understand, the more you can use, the more you have to share with your family and friends. If you know someone who wants to lose weight, if you know someone who goes to the gym and needs sports nutrition, if you know someone that's in college, needs mind works, whatever it is. Here you have the ability to choose those different product packages to figure out which one is most suitable for you. These are the average ranks in Shaklee. Like I said, you can start part-time just by using the products, sharing them, earning an income at the lower levels, such as director, or you can really start to skill up and as a senior director, coordinator, making $21,000 a year. The average American makes $48,000 a year, executive coordinator, but just by helping 3 people do what you did. And then here we have at the bottom there, my mom as a senior master coordinator, an average of $275,000 per year. And that's impressive for, being 6 years in the business and continually to grow your income based on the leadership that you have underneath you, where they decide that they want to take Shaklee on as their own. They have their own dreams, their own goals, and they're using Shaklee as a vehicle to reach them with a circle of friends that they believe will join them in this journey, right? So again, here are the product packages that we have. $349 comes with the foundation, MindWorks, Nutriferon, and Basic H to help you get started and clean your house. I recommend this for customers who might potentially see a way to share and earn later on, because it's not really enough products for you to share, but it's enough for you to use to get to know Shaklee and see how you feel. $649, a little bit more product, comes with more business tools, but most of these packages are based on product value that you get also, right? And you also get 6 months of free personal website so that you basically have a storefront for your store. It has 350 products in that store that when you send out your website to someone, they can click on it, do their research. If they decide to shop or join you, Shaklee will send them the products, do all the work, and you get paid for it through the affiliate website that you have. And it's a beautiful website. So here you get a little bit of each product category in Shaklee. And then we have our most favorite package, which is our $1049. The reason why this is our favorite package is because it comes with $2,200 worth of retail value, 12 months of free personal website, conference tickets to Atlanta this year where you get to learn how even more to build your business, get recognized. But even more than that is the products that it comes with. It comes with complete sets of each product category that we have. Not 350 products, not everything in the book, but it comes with a full set of our healthy weight program that has 16 meals, helping you gain lean muscle, lose fat, and level your blood sugar. And then we have our skincare that will last you 4 months, 8 components, 28 days. If you don't look 10 years younger, ask for your money back. And then we have our Get Clean set. That will replace all of the cleaners in your home, super concentrated, will last you a long time, and is non-toxic and biodegradable, good for the earth. And then we have our sports nutrition line. We have the pre-workout, all natural, energy chews with B-complex. And then we have our performance, which is our hydrating drink with 4 different types of electrolytes in there to keep you hydrated, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And physique, to help you repair your muscles and your joints after you work out in order to rebuild your muscles so you can have stronger, better muscles. And then we have our life plan, of course, which is the foundation of our health. And so with that, just for $1049.95, right? And then with that, you also get all the support and tools. You have an app that you can actually build your business and shop and use resources, send out videos from your phone, and then you have your own business account, which we call a back office, where you can manage your entire business. Shaklee does all the accounting for you, and they lay it out. When we get paid and we click on bonus check, we can see exactly where we got paid, all of the dollars and cents up to the penny of where our profits came from. And so we're getting paid 50 to 60% in profits for sharing products that we had no investment in, very little investment. That $1049, that $649, that $349, yes, it's an investment, but Roger had to buy Shaklee for $310 million in cash. And then he reinvested billions of dollars more in research and development, and he only takes 10 cents out of every dollar. But as distributors, we get paid 50 to 60% back in profits just for sharing our products. And you ask, how can we do that? Well, we're a private company. We're debt-free, and Roger is not a greedy guy. He only wants 10 cents because he's already a billionaire. right? 40% goes back into research and development, and the rest of the profits come to us. So I consider us the lazy partners. The fact that we can start up a business that's our own, that can be passed down from generation to generation, with our own back office, with our support and tools, with products that are premium, that we can never lose a friend over these products because they're unconditionally guaranteed. Empty bottle policy. Isn't that amazing? So if you decided that you wanted to join, and let's say you got the 1049 package because it has an awesome value, when you bring 3 people in your first month, and this is just an example, this is not the only way to do Shaklee, but this just gives you kind of an overview of all the kind of other ways that we get paid at Shaklee. So one way is based on personal volume. Every product in the book comes with a point value, and when you accumulate that over a 31-day period from the 1st to the 31st, Shaklee closes that month up and pays you on what you accumulated in that month. So you get $750 of your own personal volume from joining. Anything that you buy yourself, Shaklee will pay you on it. So even if you didn't do anything, and you didn't share, all you did was join and you got the 1049, you got products back, you would get $60 back. Pretty much as a rebate, right? If you go to Costco, you wouldn't get any money back. You would just get a discount. But here we have, so basically if you brought 3 people to join you because you started to share your products with your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad, and they really start to like it and they say, okay, man, how can I join? They come to these webinars, they learn more about it, and they said they want to join you in the journey. So you brought in 3 people. We get paid $450 in a gold bonus, which is for a gold pack, because that's what the packs are called. And then we also get 15 sponsoring points, where if you get 15 sponsoring points, Shaklee will pay you $150 in what we call a power bonus for those 15 sponsoring points. And those points also go towards the luxurious trips that we go on every year, at least 2 or 3 times a year, if you earn them. And so if we brought 3 people, we invested $1049.95, but we got back about, if you add it up, $420 plus $450 plus $450 comes out to be $1,320, $1,300, right? $1,320, and you invested $1049 plus tax and shipping. That means you covered the cost of your investment, and you have money left over, about $200 left over, and now you got $2,200 with the retail value for free. Amazing. So what else happens when this happens is that you've accumulated 3,000 in volume. And when you do that, the minimum requirement to reach the first rank in Shaklee, remember? The first rank in Shaklee was the director. In order to become a director, you only need 2,000 in PGV. So now you're on your way to actually earning a really good income and then moving up in rank, promoting yourself, right? And the only way to promote yourself is to promote somebody else. So like, let's say, which really happened, let's say Seth and Susan sponsored Christy, and Christy became a director, and Seth and Susan are a director as well. Now Seth and Susan are senior directors, because they have Christy as a director. Christy gets her money back, she becomes a director, and now Seth and Susan are senior directors. When that happens, Shaklee pays you an additional bonus. This is 1 out of the 9 ways we get paid at Shaklee. Just 1 out of the 9. That when you maintain your rank as a senior director for 2 months, on your 3rd month, Shaklee will start paying you an additional $100 per month for 10 months until you get the whole full 1,000. So if you worked a corporate job, maybe if you got promoted after 3 years or something, they pay you 25 cents to 50 cents more, maybe $1, right? Isn't that cool? So, but here at Shaklee, they pay you an additional $100 per month on top of your commissions over as car bonuses, part-time, not full-time, part-time. And also, just for having one person underneath you doing what you're doing, when you reach 5,000 in volume, and you get paid a car bonus. So I get $450 a month for my car bonus. My mom gets $600 a month, and I get it for 25 years. So you can actually qualify for your own car that's in your name, not a company car. People like to call it a company car, but it's not a company car. It's your car that the company pays for. That's yours. You can choose to lease or to own it. It doesn't matter. They pay you 36 months of car payment for every rank that you move up. So now, Seth and Susan have Christy, and then they have a friend named Sam. And Sam becomes a director, right? So they have Christy and Sam becoming a director, getting their money back, all that good stuff. And now Susan and Seth become coordinators. As a coordinator, on top of that 1,000, Shaklee will pay an additional 3,000 in fast track bonuses, which is an additional $400 per month for 10 months, right? And also as a coordinator, you've now earned the trip. We go on all these luxurious 5-star resort trips. They pay for the flight, the food, the drinks. Literally all you have to worry about is how to get from your house to the airport. And when you come back on a trip, how do you get from the airport back to your house? Other than that, everything is taken care of, all inclusive. Roger even includes the tips. He pre-tips the people that work at the resort for us, so we don't have to if we didn't want to tip them because they're already tipped. But if we want to do more, we can do more, right? So next year we're going to Los Cabos, Mexico, April 9th to 14th. Our dream trip for this year, actually, we're going to be there in 10 days. So in 10 days, last year we all worked really hard to get on this trip. And I think there's about 350 of us going to Playa del Carmen this year, to Paradis's Playa del Carmen, which is an amazing resort in Mexico. So now you kind of get the pattern, right? You build directors, and now you want to help your people move up. So basically, Seth and Susan help Christy become coordinators, help them become senior coordinators, and they, which in turn accumulates a bigger volume. So if you have 3 director teams, so they have Christy, they have Sam, and say they have another person named Joe, all 3 of those people will start to move up in rank, and you get promoted. When you have 30,000 and 3 directors, you will start to earn all of these accumulated bonuses: 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, all together adding up to 34,000 in fast track bonuses. And this is an additional income not included in your commission, right? But an additional promotional bonus that you get. And what's amazing about this also is that for helping other people do what you did, say when Seth and Susan helped Christy earn 34,000 in fast track bonuses, they get an additional 17,000 for helping them, because you're mentoring, right? You're mentoring that person do the 34, earn the 34, build their business to senior executive coordinator, and they earn 17,000. Now, if you were to help all 3 people, Joe, Christy, and Sam, 17 times 3 is 51,000 that Seth and Susan are earning, plus 34 of their own fast track bonuses, which will come up to about 85,000 in fast track bonuses. And then adding the commissions, the overrides, the car bonuses that you get, that is about $100,000. In 18 months, they give you time. And this is something that you can participate in. You don't have to, but it's a voluntarily, you can voluntarily participate in this fast track bonus to help you build your business quickly, but also start to have a residual income, which comes from the customer base that you have that you're building over time, right? So here we are again with the levels, director all the way up to presidential. And then when you get to key coordinator, which is right after senior executive, if you help those 3 people get to senior executive, you'll definitely make it to key. But as a key, the average annual income is about $100,000 a year. And on top of that, on top of the Mexico trip, we go to China. And we're having a reception on the Great Wall of China. So, we've been all over the place in Shaklee. This was an example. Last year, Shaklee took us to Italy, where we went to Florence and Tuscany. We stayed in Belmont San Michele, which is a 5-star resort. Actually, the fifth best resort in the entire world. It was a monastery built by Michelangelo, so it was a privilege to stay there. And then we stayed also in a castle in Vienna, which was amazing, built like even before Christ was born. So it was really interesting to go to Europe and see all of the things. They call America the New World, which I think is really funny, but we are fairly new. They treat us like royalty on these trips. It's just amazing. And when we do go on trips, like we go to Bali, we go to Paris, we go to Kenya, Africa. This year, people are going to Machu Picchu. Next year, it's China. It's always a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Even if you try going on your own, there are experiences that Shaklee really thinks of the details. There are experiences that you simply cannot have on your own trip. These little details that you see here. When we go out to lunch in Rome, this was in Rome, right by the Colosseum. And here we have a whole dinner planned out for Shaklee people with Shaklee Top Achievers emblems all over. And then when we come back every single night, not just on this trip, but on every trip we go on, every night when we get back from our day of vacationing and touring and relaxing and chilling, when we get back, the president of the company leaves a note and a gift for us on our bed, appreciating us for our partnership. So, it's amazing to think that we can just share our passion, share the opportunity, share products that actually work and help people. And we get to earn something like this, a lifestyle that people really can't imagine. But think differently. What if this was actually real for you? It's real for me. And I didn't for a long time. It took me 3 years for me to see that I could do this too, that my mom wasn't just this amazing phantom lady that could do everything, that the opportunity is really open to anyone and everyone. Think about that. Think about what if all those doubts and those fears that you have were just non-existent. What if you didn't doubt yourself? What could happen, right? And that's what we have here at Shaklee. One of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had so far was traveling to Japan and going on a 4-city tour. And this was incredible because we got to see people who've been in Shaklee for 40 years. I think it was 39 years that Shaklee has been around. Now it's 40 years this year. And to see the legacy that Shaklee has had in Japan, and then now they want to pass it down to their next generation. There are kids that grew up in Shaklee for 30 years who grew up having a new car every 3 years because their parents are in Shaklee cars. They grew up going on trips 3-4 times a year. And it's just incredible, the kind of lifestyle that we've passed down. Plus, they all look like babies, right? They all look so young and so healthy. And it's the positive attitude that Danny was talking about that really keep us younger longer too, is that because we feel good and we look good, we have a positive outlook on life. And imagine raising your kids in that kind of environment. It's truly amazing. So a little bit about my mom here. I wonder if Peter Paul is still on the line. He's not right now, but this was her before and after picture, inflammation, sick. And there's Peter Paul on the right-hand side. He lost over 100 pounds now, being in Shaklee 6 years, and they are just an incredible duo. They work together really well in terms of just leadership and mentoring all of us, whether we're 18 years old or we're 97 years old, which we do have. That they are really a unique couple that when you join us in our business and you join us in our team, even if you're not in our team, these two are here, and even me, we're here for everyone, if you need our love and support. So that's all we have for you today. I know we are 8 minutes over, but I really want to thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions, please go back to the person that invited you. And we're really excited to have you. Good job for Danny and Christy sharing their story. Really excited for this new leadership coming up. And I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And eventually you're going to be doing these presentations without me. And I can't wait to see how you're going to grow. So have a good day and a good weekend. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.